Hi guys, it's Claire Matara from the Amazon in Peru. It's the 4th of December 2020, and this time I want to do another video about Meher Baba, my master for 45 years, and want to talk about Meher Baba's connection with Jesus. I always was very interested in Jesus as a child. I was born in a Roman Catholic family, large Catholic family, and we went to church quite a bit. My grandmother was very, very devoted, and she would go to the church a lot, and I lived with her the first 6 years of my life with the whole family, after which the family moved out and she lived by herself. And I used to visit her sometimes, and it was very good to visit her. So this was my beginning, where I really felt a lot of love for Jesus, and I already had an interest in art, and I tried to make pictures of Jesus, and was very frustrated because I realized I didn't have enough data, I didn't have enough information to make the pictures the way it was. So I had a yearning to know Jesus and what he was really like. But at that time we had some Bible classes in the school, but not a lot. Still I went to Catholic school, so we did a little bit of it. I did more Bible studies when I was in high school, where I took a special subject called religion. Found that very good and interesting too. And later on in my life, when I was close to 20, I set up a youth choir actually. And it was very, very successful. We made songs, we did a lot of music for the services, and people really enjoyed it. We got a lot of attention from the people who wanted to come to a mass where there was a bit more action going on and more joy. A lot of youngsters came there. So I felt a little bit frustrated after a while, thinking that people come for each other, they come for social reasons, but they don't necessarily come for God. And I started to question a lot of things. So also all this was in Holland when I was young. At 21 I moved to Australia as an immigrant, and there I started to I was thrown back on myself, obviously, because I had no family there. And this really made me go more deeply into my search for Jesus and for God, and I really called for God to reveal himself to me. I was walking in the forest sometimes by myself, and did some fasting, and really called out with my heart that God would reveal himself to me. I was about 23, 24 when I found that we came to a house where there was a picture of Baba. It was actually this picture. That's why I love it so much, because it was the picture where Meher Baba first pulled me into his embrace, really. And then even though Baba had already dropped the body, I had some very, very powerful experiences from Baba in dreams, and this was even more real than my normal life. I have another story about that. It's a separate story. This time I want to talk about Baba and Jesus. So when I started to feel that Baba had come into my heart as a Christ figure, I really needed to resolve that with my past life. And I actually went back to Holland for 6 months and studied the Bible with a group there. I also studied Baba's discourses not long after that again, and I really was comparing all the information and found that it wasn't really in any way not adding up. I thought the information supported each other, so that was good. And then I started over the years after that, I started to draw Jesus from the Shroud picture, and also Jesus from how I saw him in Baba. So like this picture, for instance, this is one that I found was very special. It was an oil painting. It's now in Los Angeles with Diana Snow's daughter, and it's been a real gift to be able to make that picture. I did it the same study from a black and white photo quite a few times, about 4 or 5 times, and this one is probably the best one of it. Yeah, I want to tell a couple of stories which happened to myself personally, and which was kind of like Baba's response to my wish to know if he was Jesus. So, because he said I was Jesus, I was Muhammad, I was Buddha, I was Krishna, saying that the same ancient one comes again and again. So it is the same Son of God, as they say, the same Christ Spirit, which incarnates again and again to help uplift humanity and give the message again of righteousness and loving God. So I was always in the mornings. This was when I lived in Mapleton, close to Nambour, close to Meher Baba's center in Australia, and my children were very small. My youngest was 2, and my other one was about 6, and we lived in a little house in the forest, and I would always ask Baba, what do you want me to do, how can I serve you today? And Baba gave me this little message where I had to go to a house and see if I could help someone. So I went to the house that was indicated, which was a second-hand shop in Nambour, drove down to Nambour and tried to park near it, but I couldn't park out the front. So it had a message to park out the back, so I did that. I went to the parking place at the back, and there was a small truck with a woman trying to unload furniture from that small truck, and I was touched, and I said to her, can I help you remove the furniture? And she said, oh yes, please. And I came to help her and took all the stuff upstairs with her, and when I was inside her house I saw this beautiful picture of Jesus on the wall, and I said to her, that's a really nice picture of Jesus. And she said, oh yes, I'm very dedicated to Jesus, and I prayed to him, and today I prayed to him that he would send somebody to help me carry the furniture and do this job. So you're the one that responded to my prayer. Thank you very much. So that was for me also a little revelation that Baba directly connected to a person who was asking Jesus to help. Another case was when I was living in New Zealand. I had another baby by that time, and we were struggling a bit, and my son Ravi was going to the Steiner school, and so was my daughter Shireen. And I went walking them to the school, and there was an old man sitting outside on the front of a little wall. He was sitting outside his house on a little wall, and my son Ravi said, this man is very lonely, and he's saying hello to the children. And so I took a bit of interest because Ravi is always very intuitive, and I thought that maybe Ravi would feel like going to say hello to him, and if he wasn't with me, he might go and say hello to the man, and I didn't really want him to go into houses where I didn't know what was going on. So I made a little conversation with the man and went inside with him, and the place was a total mess. He was obviously suffering from Alzheimer's. A very nice guy, but completely off the planet, and he had stuff everywhere. It was a really terrible mess. So I said to Ravi, well, if it turns out, you can go and say hello, but don't go inside the house. I'll try and find out if I can do something for him. So I tried to find out who was his relative, and the man didn't remember his relatives, but he remembered one person, and I found that person in the phone book. And I talked to them, and they gave me the connection with the relatives. And I asked if I could help him, and they said, oh yes, you can take some medicine over to him, which I did, and some food sometimes, which I did also. And then later on I ended up cleaning the whole house, and they helped me to pay for it, for the job that I did. So it worked out very well both ways. This was a really big job, this man. I slowly took all his rubbish out of the house. He had about 60 tons of rubbish. It was huge. We had to take so many truckloads out of there to the garbage. He had not taken any rubbish out for 15 years. And then when his house was cleaned up, we had a party, and it was really wonderful. The house was nice. And his daughter came to me and said, I'm a born-again Christian, and I prayed to Jesus, and I'm really, really grateful that you've done this, because I prayed for a long time that Jesus would help me with something for my father, because he thought that his family had been stealing from him, because he lost everything, because he tucked it away somewhere and then he forgot where it was. So he blamed his family, which was really sad. So we had finished, I found his things and showed them to him and said, you know, it's not your family who's been taking your things. Yeah, so she was really, really grateful. And then he went to a nursing home where she was actually working, so she could keep an eye on him every day, and their relationship was restored. His problems with his family were solved. I did a lot of prayer with that man together, and he forgave his family. So that was a really wonderful thing to do before he died. And yeah, she was very grateful, and said it was she had prayed to Jesus that somebody would help her father, and this was what happened. So there's another story, but I think we're kind of running out of time, and I just want to let you know a couple of pictures that I felt were Baba's drawings I did for Baba. Really looking for his face, always feeling that I was finally finding the face of Jesus, and this is one of them. So this one is now in Sydney, in the Meher Baba Center at Beacon Hill. And I'm not 100% sure where this one went, but it's another picture that I made lots of times, and this was made on grey paper with white charcoal on it, white crayon, and then black, of course. So that really made it come alive. That to me is very much his compassionate face. Yeah, I did several pictures of the actual Jesus from the Shroud, and also this one more time, which is one of my very favorites, and many people have copied it and pasted it everywhere, which is of course a complete honor that Baba gave me that opportunity to be part of that. Alright, if you like the video, give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe, and lots of love, and I hope to see you again at another video. Thank you very much. God bless.